am so happy to be retired. I can't even begin to tell you. And really, I mean, life is really great. But seriously, I think that, the first thing that you have to do is always understand that, my motto has been, when I wake up in the morning, there's somewhere in the world that's younger, smarter, faster, cheaper. He just didn't get this job. And so you have to stay on your toes. You have to stay humble. You have to stay open to the fact that change is inherent, and that anybody that's trying to protect the status quo is really putting himself or herself in danger. That's for the people that think that, after COVID, things might come back to be the same. I have been blown away by some of the success stories in some of the new leaders. And I'll give you a little story, an example, because I had the good fortune of being on a couple of the big consulting firm CSO boards. This particular sales organization and sales leader, whenever they have a Zoom meeting prepared with a prospect, find a way, if possible, to understand whether they like alcohol or not, and if they like alcohol, which sort of alcohol. And then they send pre-Zoom a nice package that has a nice glass and a bottle of wine. And then on their side, they have the same glass and the same bottle of wine. And imagine if that works, right? Imagine imagine the level of personal touch that this presents. And it's even interesting in the sense that you could never do this in the office. You could never have, even if somebody say, I like red wine, you wouldn't be able to bring a bottle of red wine at your first meeting in the office. But because the prospect is in their house, you're home, it's an easy way to have a completely break the ice meeting. And there's countless stories like this. So I think that the notion that virtual selling cannot close big transactions, the notion that virtual selling cannot create intimacy, the notion that virtual selling cannot create an enduring relationship, I think all of those are false notions. I think that there's going to be a young generation of innovators, particularly in the go-to-market function, that are going to find a way to make the Zoom or WebEx or whichever platform you use not only equivalent, but probably better than the previous mode of selling. And then let's not forget that there are two forces at play that are probably irreversible. The first one is the power of the CFO. I talk to a lot of CFOs, and I'm telling you, they're not ready to give back the T&E budget that they've been able to claw back the last few months. And if they give it back, they're going to give it back with a haircut. And secondly, as we all squeeze for OpEx, the level of productivity that you can have as a salesperson when you don't have to take a 3-hour flight at the back of a Southwest plane and then rent a car and then get to it, if you think about it, we should aspire to make virtual selling better than in-person selling. And we should reserve in-person selling to very, very specific use cases. But in my mind, virtual selling is the future for all of selling, not just for a certain type of transaction.